word problem on proportions, problem type 2. A certain drug is made from only 2 ingredients, compound A and compound B. There are 4 milliliters of compound A used for every 3 milliliters of compound B. If a chemist wants to make 399 milliliters of the drug, how many milliliters of compound B are needed? So this is, again, word problem on proportions. So they give us some information here. They give us a proportion right here. So there are 4 milliliters of compound A used for every 3 milliliters of compound B. Sorry, I didn't circle that whole part. So we know we have a 4:3 ratio. And this is A to B, right? So then they ask us if the chemist wants to make 399 milliliters of the drug, how many milliliters of compound B are needed? So, and they did this upside down for what I did also. Let's see. Oh, they're doing the whole thing. So hold on. So we have the ratio 4:3, which does, it relates, but because we're not doing just compound A to compound B, we're doing compound B to the whole thing. So that's why they add 4 plus 3, and together it's 7. So 7 would also relate to 4 or 3. So that's why they do compound B, which is the 3, that's the second one, over the whole thing. And that's going to equal B again, because we have B on top here. 3 is for B, because this is still A and B. I just moved it up a little bit. And this is the whole thing, right? So compound B, I'm using 3 milliliters for every 7 total. And then we don't know how many of B we need to make 399. So that's where they get this ratio from. And a lot of the time I write a little map. In this case, it might be a little difficult to write a map because it depends on what they're giving us in the story for this one in particular. So maybe both pieces, we have to do, A to B, something along those lines. Or in this case, it was one of the compounds to the whole thing. So we just need to make sure we're matching up corresponding parts when we're reading through this. Once we have a proportion written, we just cross multiply. So we have 3 times 399, and then 7 times x, so 7x. And then what they're not showing you here is they divided both sides by 7, which is why 7 cancels with 7 and x is by itself. And that's why they have divided by 7 here. So then they multiply to divide, and they get 700 or 171 milliliters. So let's go ahead and try this one out because I think it'll make a little more sense when we actually do one. Okay, so the residents of a city voted on whether to raise property taxes. The ratio of the votes, yes votes to no votes, was 5:3. So I'm going to go 5:3. This was yes to no. If there were 6,976 total votes, how many no votes were there? So we're going to go total and no. Those are the two things we need. So we need a total. We have to add these together. So this is our whole or our total. So this 8 can compare to 5 or 3. So for every 8 votes, 5 were yes. For every 8 votes, 3 were no. So now we're going to write a proportion to show these two things. So what we need to do is we want no and total. So this is kind of the map that I was telling you. So it's going to be specific for each one. So no and total. We're going to have ratio, and then we're going to have actual. All right, so let's go ahead and fill this out. So no for the ratio is 3. And ratio for the total, that's the 8. And then we have the actual total. Remember, they told us that over here. We have 6,976. And then actual no votes, well, that's what we're trying to figure out. That's our question mark. All right, so let's go ahead and cross multiply now that we have a ratio. So we have 3 times 6,976 equals 8 times question mark. So let's go ahead and grab our calculator here. Move that over. So we have 3 times 6,976. Typing the wrong thing, saying the wrong one. All right, 20,928 equals 8 question mark. So now what we need to do is take this 8 and divide on both sides of our equal sign because we want to get question mark by itself. And 8 divided by 8, or any number divided by itself, becomes 1. So that's why question mark will drop down by itself. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. I'm going to divide. I don't have to retype that number in. It's already there. So I can just hit divide, and the calculator automatically knows I want to divide that number by what I type in next. So 8. So I get 2,616. So we had 2,616 no votes. Check. All right, let's do the next one here. Next. Oh, technology's spazzing out a little bit here. All right, so each marble bag sold by Mary's Marble Company contains 5 purple marbles to every 7 orange. So we have a ratio. Purple to orange. And then if a bag has 35 purple marbles, how many orange marbles does it contain? So we actually want to compare purple to orange. There's nothing in here about the total. So we already have our ratio. So when I start writing my actual ratio here, if I want to talk about the map, I'm going to have purple to orange. And I'm going to have ratio to actual. So the ratio and the actual are probably going to be the same for every map. It just depends on what we're comparing for the other two. So are we comparing pieces, which in this case we are, purple and orange, or are we comparing a piece to a total, which is what we've done on the explanation and on the first one we tried out. So let's go ahead and start filling in our pieces. So purple to orange, we already have that ratio. It's 5 to 7. We already wrote that down. So now we need to do actual purple, which they told us are 35. Actual orange, that's our question mark. We don't know that one. All right, so let's go ahead and start cross multiplying. So we have 5 times question mark equals 7 times 35. All right, so we have 5 question mark equals, let's see, we have 35, 21, 22, I believe it's 240. Let's go ahead and check it real quick. Checking with calculator is not a bad thing because it is a little disappointing to get something incorrect for something silly like I didn't multiply correctly. So we do get 245, and then I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides because any number divided by itself cancels. And remember, both sides, there's always 2 sides of an equal sign. And this lets the question mark drop down, and we have equals. So we have to go back to our calculator here and divide by 5. So we get 49. So if there are 35 purple marbles in a bag, then there are 49 orange ones. Blah, keeps writing the right word and saying the wrong one. All right, one more of these. Okay, the ratio of men to women working for a company is 8 to 5. So I have 8 to 5 men to women. So here's my ratio. There are 325 employees total. So I hear the word total. That tells me I'm going to compare one of these pieces to the total. How many women work for the company? So we're going to be comparing women, but first I need to know what's my comparison for total. So I have 8 plus 5, and I get 13. So this is my total, or my whole comparison. So now I'm going to write a ratio, and I'm comparing women to total. I swear I can spell women correctly. I've switched my O and my E for whatever reason. Women and total. And then remember, this is ratio to actual. So the ratio to actual is not going to change each time. It's the 2 other pieces that we're comparing. So women in the ratio, we're going to come down here. That was 5. Total for the ratio, remember, that was when we added them together. That's 13. Women actual, we don't know. That's what we want to know. So we're trying to find out. And then total, remember, they told us how many total employees there were for actual, and that's 325. So now we can start cross multiplying. We get 5 times 325 equals 13 times question mark. So let's go ahead and go to our calculator here. And we have 5 times 235. Nope. 325. What? It got rid of my multiplication sign. 325. All right, so pay attention to that because I just accidentally deleted my multiplication sign, which would have given me a really funky number there. So it would have given me 5,325 because there was no multiplication between them. It would just given me the number back that I typed in. So do be careful about calculators because they're only as good as what you put into them. All right, so now we have two sides of our equal sign. We want to get question mark by itself. So I'm going to divide by 13 on both sides. 13 divided by 13 cancels. And we get divided by 13 equals, so we get 125. So if there are 325 employees total, 125 of them are women in this case. So of course this isn't for every company. All right, we finished another one. Yay.